Hello everybody, I hope that all of you are doing super well, and today, as you're seeing on the screen, we're gonna try to rank a huge amount of fighting games and discuss if they are worth playing in 2025 as a fighting game fan. Some of these games are of course ongoing fighting games, like they have active development support like Street Fighter 6 or Tekken 8, and others are older and basically you could argue they are retro games or modern fighting games that are already done, like Tekken 7 for example. And we're gonna rank them and basically discuss if it is worth playing them in 2025 overall. And I have the tier list right here, and you know, we have not worth it, like it's not worth going back to the game. Casual with friends, basically that is probably for games that have bad online, you know, as simple as that. Then we have worth it, fun game overall, a game that maybe has a decent online and you can still play and is really good. And then we have, you know, like the high tier options, the games that are just good overall and you should probably try, and the must play games, you know, the games that are actually really good at the moment and you should play them if you like fighting games at all. So let me know in the comments also which games you would argue are worth trying in 2025, either retro games or newer ones, and maybe some games that are not on this list also, because this list doesn't have all games. We're of course gonna ignore some of them because they are too old, or we have like newer versions of the same game that are better and stuff like that, or maybe I also didn't play them so I don't really have an opinion on them. So let's start with this. We have first Street Fighter 2 Turbo. I think that we can, you know, basically use this as a placeholder for the best version that you can think of Street Fighter 2, and I think that they are worth it. They are a fun game overall. There's a lot of basically versions of Street Fighter 2 that you can try. Some of them have decent netcode but probably don't have a lot of people playing, and I think that it is worth, like it's a very nice retro game and it is part of the history of Street Fighter as a franchise, and there's a lot of fun in playing like retro Street Fighter, I would argue. It is like more basic, but at the same time it has like a charm to it, so you could put it here or also here. I would argue that maybe it should be here because there's a lot of versions of this game that also have bad online. So maybe we're just gonna say that it's good for casual, you know, or with some friends if you have like a collection of Capcom games and stuff like that. But it's still a really good game, I would argue. Then we have Third Strike. I think that Third Strike is basically a really good game to play. And actually, I'm gonna put it here with also moving Street Fighter 2 because of something that I'm thinking right now, and that is basically Fightcade. With Fightcade, you can play most of these games at a really decent netcode, so I think that they should probably be here, even if they don't have like an official re-release with good rollback and stuff like that and like a big player base. But for example, Third Strike, it's a very iconic game, and it should probably get another re-release, to be honest, with good rollback and stuff. And this game, maybe not another re-release, but it should probably maybe be a part of a collection, I don't know. But both of these games probably deserve to be in this section because technically you can play them at a decent netcode with Fightcade. Then we have Street Fighter 4. I think that this game actually needs to be here. Like, you can't really play this game online like at a really high quality. There is still some people playing like Ultra SF4 on like Steam and stuff like that, but it's probably not the best. But it is a really good game overall. Like, if you have people to play it with, it's a really good game to come back, so it doesn't deserve to be here at all. Like, it's not a bad game. So if you have people that want to play SF4 and maybe you have a copy of it, for sure, you know, play with them and have fun because this game can be really good. And if you like SF6, you're probably gonna like SF4 in terms of gameplay loop. Like, it's not the same, but it feels inspired by, so you're probably gonna love it. So give it a try, you know, it's actually worth it, I would argue. For some people, you could even put it here, but I'm gonna leave it there. Then we have SF5. SF5 also maybe deserves to be here as an overall product at the end of its dev cycle. At the start, it was a very bad game, and you probably would put it here. Or to be honest, if SF5 ended as it started, it should be here. But with all the changes, you know, you could argue that you can play it and have a ton of fun with it. It's overall a very decent game. But the thing also is that you have SF6, and SF6 is a must play. And in many ways, whether you like it or not, SF6 is basically Street Fighter 5 the sequel. So actually SF5 is gonna move into here, even though it has better netcode than this, is not the best also. And if you wanna play SF5, just play SF6. Like, whether you think that SF6 is not similar to SF5, it is objectively similar, you know? Like, it has very similar gameplay, and now with Season 3, maybe it's gonna feel a lot different, so you could go back to this if you enjoy it. But with SF6, you know, in the plate, like, why would you go back to SF5? I don't see any reason for it. So SF6 must play, really good game, as I said, you know, in comparison to 5. Overall, it is arguably the best fighting game as a product at the moment. Like, it has amazing netcode, amazing training mode, a decent single player mode, so if you want to choose, probably play SF6. Then we move to the Alpha series. I think that most of the Alpha games, you can play them on Fightcade, if I'm not mistaken. And arguably, the best ones are Alpha 2 and 3, basically. But, you know, Alpha 1, you can put it... Oh, sorry. My bad. Alpha 1, you can put it there, arguably, or even here. Because, like, these games are just better, dude. Like, if you want to have fun with Alpha series, just play 2 or 3 on Fightcade. And it's worth it. Like, the Alpha series is a very fun section of this history of Street Fighter, for sure. So, pick them up. You're going to have a ton of fun. Then we have the EX games. It's hard to find a way to play these games. But if you can have access to 2+ and EX3, you should probably play them. Like, with friends, you know, casually, local. Online, it's probably not going to happen. But if you can play these games, you know, offline with a couple of friends, it's going to be a ton of fun. So, for sure, it deserves to be there. Then we have Street Fighter Cross Tekken. That probably deserves to be here too. It doesn't have, sadly, like a re-release with good netcode, and the game was a mess also, but you could argue that it is still a very good game, especially if you just take it casually. So I think that this game deserves to be here. Then we move into Tekken. Tekken 3, I would argue again, another one that is good for casuals and with friends. It's basically, you know, older Tekken is going to be a ton of fun, but there's no re-release of any Tekken game, so there's no option to play older Tekkens with rollback and stuff like that, so they should probably not be here at all. And you can't play them on Fightcade, if I'm not mistaken, so that makes them go back a little basically in the tier list. Then we have Tekken 4. I'm actually not going to rank Tekken 4 because why play Tekken 4 when you can play Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection? There's no reason to play Tekken 4 if you can play this, and also there's no reason to play Tekken 5 or to play Tekken 6 if you can play Tekken 7. So I think that Tekken 5, same as this, sadly doesn't have the best netcode, it doesn't have a release, so just casual with friends, offline, maybe with emulators also. Tekken 7, I would argue you can put it here. It doesn't have like the best netcode, and the menus, you know, how much you have to wait for matches and stuff can be really annoying, but this game is amazing. It has amazing gameplay, the netcode can work decently, has a big roster, a relatively decent balance, and it's very fun. And the single player mode is also not that bad at all. It's not the best, but also not the worst. And Tekken 7 is some of the most fun that you can have with Tekken. It made Tekken much more accessible also to new players, so it is basically a game that you should probably give a try, but we should probably leave it here, you know? Like, it's maybe not some of the best, but it's still very good. Tekken 8, I would argue, is some of the best. I know that a lot of people are basically super mad at the balancing with Tekken 8, but if you take that off the list, you know, and think of Tekken 8 as an overall product, it is basically the most gorgeous fighting game out there right now. I would argue the best looking fighting game. It has a very good single player mode, like it's very fun, really, really good. Has a nice story, has a ton of options to play offline and online. It has casual game modes, customization. Like, there's a lot of good in this game, even though people criticize it a lot. And even though I haven't played it that much, you know, on the last months, I still think that it is some of the best games that you can pick up if you like fighting games at the moment. And, you know, the balancing should get better over time. And it's getting better with the new patch also. So, you know, it's gonna build up to something that is even better, and I think that it deserves to be here, but not here. Like SF6, it is still a much better game and product than Tekken 8, even though I prefer to play Tekken. Overall, Street Fighter 6 is just a better experience. Then we have Tekken Tag, I think, yeah. Tekken Tag 1 and 2, I mean, the same with all Tekken, sadly. Like, all of them deserves to be here. I'm actually gonna put just 5 and like 6 here, because the reality of Tekken is that everything is fun with casual friends, but there's no online, and the offline modes can be a little lackluster depending on the game, because some of them have very iconic offline game modes, you know, like Tekken Force and stuff. So most Tekken games should probably be in the casual versus, you know, friends section. Then we move into Smash Bros. I'm actually gonna rank Smash Bros, but you can argue that basically this should be up here. It is arguably the best Smash game of all time. It has an insanely big roster and is basically better than all of these games in terms of overall product. You can argue that all of these games also are very good with friends. Again, super fun to play, and there's nothing wrong with them at all. And Smash Bros for the Wii U, I would argue, it's not really close to Ultimate. So I think that Ultimate is some of the best games that you can play if you like fighting games and platform fighters. So basically just play Smash to have some fun. And I would argue that maybe this one should be up here, only because it is the first one to me that has like a special, you know, place in my heart. I love Smash for the 64, so I'm gonna leave it there as my own placement, even though I know it should maybe be in the casual with friends section. Then we move into MK. Well, most of the older MKs basically suffer from the same as Tekken. They don't have any re-release with rollback or anything like that. So I'm actually just gonna rank 9, 10, 11, and 1. I think that 11 and 1 maybe deserve to be here. They don't have the best like gameplay. I don't really love the gameplay on MK1 or MK11, but still, it is an iconic franchise. A ton of people love Mortal Kombat. Both games have relatively decent netcode. There's still a lot of people playing MK11 actually, so if you like MK11 more than 1, you can go back to it. And even though MK1 is done, you can argue that the current state of MK1 as a game in terms of gameplay is much better than what it was at the start. So both of these games probably deserve to be here, and also because they have decent netcode, you know, or even good quote-unquote netcode, so they can be here. I'm not mad at that. And the older ones, sorry, but older MKs, they should probably all be in casual with friends or not worth it depending on the game. Then we move into Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe. It's probably not worth playing. I'm not gonna lie. It's a mess of a game. Probably not worth it. Hopefully we get a new one that is good. Injustice 1 and 2. It's kind of like over here, you know, the same as MKX and 9. Even though you can argue MKX also maybe should be here. And 9 also, it's kind of arguable. I'm not super sure, but Injustice, hell no. Injustice is not that good, dude. Like, a lot of people love the Injustice games because of the characters and the atmosphere, and I also do. But these games were not good in terms of gameplay. Like, they were a freaking mess. So I would argue that they are just good from a casual perspective. They are not good games to take a little more seriously. Like, not at all. Maybe Injustice 2, just a little because it's single player and stuff like that. And we're gonna leave MK9 and MKX here, basically because they are really good games. Even though they don't have the best netcode, they probably deserve to have that spot. They'll move into KI. You can play old KI with Fightcade, actually, and it's a really good game. So I would argue it is worth it overall. KI2, I don't think it's worth it. It's kind of a mess. And KI 2013, arguably must play. It is an amazing game. It has insanely good netcode, and even though it's an older game, I would argue that it is some of the best fun game that you can play at the moment. And we need a new KI. I'm gonna, you know, work for it. I'm gonna give my opinion on it. But to me, KI 2013 is a must play. I always go back to it, you know, from time to time. And I think that this game is just so good. For me, it's a must play. It's some of the best older modern fighting games that you can play, to not just say the best that you can pick up. Then we have Capcom vs SNK. I think that Capcom vs SNK 1 is just good for casual with friends, with the new collection also. But with Capcom vs SNK 2, I would put it here, dude. Like, it's a very good retro game. Maybe let's move this here just because it's in the collection. But if you want to play Capcom vs SNK 2 and 1, you should probably just play 2 and play it in the collection. It's gonna have great netcode, a lot of, you know, better quality of life features because of the collection, and a ton of more. So it's worth playing for sure. It's a very iconic and very fun, like, older game, basically. Then we have Tatsunoko. Oh no, Tatsunoko is not worth it because there's basically no way to play it. It's not that it's a bad game. Like, if this game had a re-release with rollback and everything, I would put it here. It's a very good game, fun as hell. But now there's no way to play it. Maybe here, you know, if you have like a copy and a console, you can maybe get some friends to play it. But it can be up there, you know. If it had a re-release with rollback, dude, I would be happy to put it here. Like, I love this game, but there's no way to play it. Then we have the Marble game, basically. I would argue that all of them are, like, overall worth playing. Now that you have the collection also, I think that we should put them all up here. Like, this is the one not. And Infinite, hell no. Like, hell no. But 1, 2, and 3, I think that you should probably put them up here, since we have, you know, the collection for these two. And this one, it doesn't have the best netcode, but maybe what we're gonna do is we're gonna play 1 and 2 here because we have the collection, and this one is gonna stay here because we don't have a re-release. We need a re-release of Ultimate Marvel 3. Like, it would break the internet. We need it. But yeah, very good games. Some of my favorite fighting games of all time. I love the Marvel vs. Capcom franchise, so for me, they for sure should be up there. Then we have Marvel Super Heroes, Marvel vs. Street Fighter. This one is in the collection if I'm not mistaken, so we're gonna leave it here. Really fun game. This one I don't remember. And then we have the X-Men games, X-Men vs Street Fighter, also in the collection if I'm not mistaken, so super fun. And then we have these weird games, I'm not gonna rank them. Maybe we could rank, you know, Tenkaichi 3. Capture with friends, amazing. Then we move into Dragon Ball Fighters. Fighters for me is up here. I love Fighters as a game overall. And the netcode actually works pretty decently, even though there's a ton of criticism to it. I don't think that it works that bad at all. It depends a ton on who you're playing with, basically, so it's not the best. But maybe just to be fair, it should be here. But like, if you like Dragon Ball, this game for you is up here, you know, and I love Dragon Ball. So depends on what you like, but for me, it would be all around here, like overall, but being realistic, it should probably be, you know, in the worth, you know, fun game overall part. Then what do we have? Jump Force, Ultimate Ninja Storm. Yeah, I'm not gonna rank those games. There's no reason to do it. The JoJo game, I'm also not gonna rank it. I haven't played it. And then we have Guilty Gear. With Guilty Gear, it's kind of weird because I feel like it's not really worth going back to most of the Guilty Gears when you have something like Strive and XR. Like, it's kind of weird. I think that Strive is up here. It has good netcode. The game has some balancing problems, but hopefully they are gonna go away again. But it is an amazing game visually, in terms of gameplay. Very, very like fun to play, and arguably it made Guilty Gear like a new iconic franchise overall because it was very niche. So I'm gonna put Guilty Gear Strive there. It deserves it. And then we have XR, right? Yeah, XR Rev 2. I think that it should probably be over here too. Like, it has amazing netcode. The netcode works really well. And the other game that I would argue you probably should play is R. Plus R. Yeah. All of these games should be here. They are really good, they have good netcode, and they are very fun games. So you should probably try some Guilty Gear if you haven't. Then we move into Dead or Alive. I don't have that much experience with Dead or Alive, so I'm actually gonna jump over it. Please let me know in the comments which Dead or Alive would be the best to try because I haven't played it. Then we move into KOF. I think that for KOF, the best games that you can try, the older ones, are basically 97 and 98 Ultimate Match. From the older ones, you should also probably play 2002. Very good game, super fun. And then you also have 15 and 13. 13, some of the best, and 15 also some of the best, I would argue. They are very fun games. In terms of gameplay, they are incredibly good. They maybe don't have the best graphics, at least on KOF 15. The older KOFs for me still look really good, so I don't mind them at all. And well, KOF 13 sadly doesn't have the best netcode, so, but I'm gonna leave it here because the gameplay on this game is just peak. Like, you need to play it if you haven't. It's so good. So KOF for sure deserves some high spots. Then for Virtua Fighter, I think that it's only worth to basically rank Virtua Fighter 5 Revo. Like, this game has so much work on it, and it's actually a great game. So I would argue that if you want to try Virtua Fighter before VF6 comes out, you should probably just play this and give it a try, man. It's like, it's a pretty good game. So buy it, you know, have some fun with it. It for sure deserves your money if you want to try the Virtua Fighter franchise overall. Then we have Soul Calibur. Man, I would love to have some re-releases of Soul Calibur 2 and 3. Jesus. Sadly, I think that Soul Calibur is not worth playing. I mean, maybe catch it with friends. Like, it is a very, very basically good game. It's fun and it's relatively easy to play, but the problem is that there's no one playing it, so it's gonna be insanely hard to find a match. So you basically can only play it with friends, but it's a still overall good game. If these games had a release, dude, I would put them up here, like, but we're just gonna basically put them here. And the 2 and 3 worth overall. If you can play with friends, I think that you should probably pick them up if you have the console or maybe an emulator that you can play with some friend. Then we have Fatal Fury. Like, the new one is not here, right? No. I think that with Fatal Fury, the only game that maybe it's worth playing is actually the new one. In terms of like overall as a product, it's arguably better than all the older ones, and it's gonna have a ton of DLC like over time. It's gonna have new game modes and more and more. The game is probably gonna have a ton of development, you know, active development support. So we're gonna use the Fatal Fury 1 logo as basically the new Fatal Fury, and this deserves to be up here. It's a really good game, even if people are hating on it. Like, it's really good. Garo, original Garo, also really good. They're very fun to play. You can also play it on Fight Kid, if I'm not mistaken, so you can give it a try. And then we have some of the other games, you know, from Capcom, like Project Justice, Power Stone. I mean, arguably all these games deserve to be in like up the list because they are on the collection, but I don't really play them, so I don't know what to say about them. They have Blaze Blue. I don't have any experience with Blaze Blue, so please let me know in the comments which would be the best Blaze Blue to try. I did play a ton of Samsho, but I think that the new one is actually the best one overall. So you could just, you know, pick up the new Samsho and basically have a ton of fun with it. It has decent netcode also, so you can play it online if you find people to play it. Not bad at all. Underknife, I have played some Underknife. I didn't play the last one, but it's a very fun game, and the last one, it's supposed to be good if you actually want to play it. But the amount of people that play this game is actually a little small. But still, you can for sure have fun with it, so I'm not gonna, you know, attack this game just because not many people are playing it. Still a very good game. We were over here. Granblue. Granblue is arguably some of the best options out there. Good netcode, good roster, everything that you want. Then Bloody Roar. There's no way to play this game, so I'm not gonna rank them. Dead game, sadly. Multiverses. Power Rangers is a very fun game. You should probably give it a try. It's a very, very good game. And then I think this is all of it, because we have like The Last Blade and stuff like that. All of these games that you're seeing under here are basically like, you can play them on Fightcade and have a ton of fun with them. So I'm gonna put them here, but they are not the best in comparison to, you know, newer games. Even though The Last Blade should probably get a new game, to be honest. And we're probably gonna get a new Art of Fighting also. So that would be the list, I think, because these other games I don't really know them, and some of them I haven't played, like EX Layer. So yeah, this would be the kind of like the list that I would build with the games that I have played and basically that I know. You could move some of them depending on what franchises and characters you like the most, but I think that these are some of the best fighting games that you can try. And basically every single fighting game from this one, you know, from the Casual with Friends tier list is good. Like, it's not that they're worse than all of these ones, but maybe they have worse quality of life features, they don't have rollback, or it's hard to find a way to play them because you need a copy for like an older console and stuff like that. So most of these games, you can pick them up and have a ton of fun with them. So if you like fighting games, maybe take a look at this list, you know, search for a game that you would like to play and pick it up, because you're gonna have a ton of fun. So if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment which would be your game that you would recommend for someone to pick up in 2025 if you're a fighting game fan, and see you on the next one.